Looks like we're Welcome everybody to Big Blue Beards. I am your co-host, Big Smooth. Joining us tonight from Tommy's Takes, we got Tommy G in the house. What's up, boy?
What up? What up? What up? I don't know if my beard fills in here like you guys, but I'm getting there. Give me some
Big
time.
Blue Patchy Beards. Let's go. Next are my lovely bearded brother, Monty.
What's going on, everyone?
How we doing, guys?
Doing good.
What's good, man? Doing great, man. Happy to be on the show with you fellas.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, before we kind of get into some of the topics for tonight, we know, just to kind of let the audience know, we are having Ian O'Connor on, hopefully here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. So stay with us for that. In the business, that's called a tease. Wanted to kind of shout out our guy, Paul Rykoff, who is an MSNBC contributor, huge Giants fan. Also, most importantly, a true American patriot, served our country in the Iraq War, goes to bat bipartisan in ways bipartisanly to help our vets get their services they desperately need. So if you know anybody that needs anything, shout out Righteous Media, Paul Rykoff. Dude, can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for jumping on and being a Giants fan and wearing a Zach Diassi jersey. Who the fuck does that? That was amazing.
That was dope. That was
like, awesome. Are you kidding? That's his favorite player. I was almost gonna be like, dude, you need to get a Nick Gates jersey like that. I feel like that's the correlation, right? So anyway, shout out to them. Really appreciate them, doing that for us and Paul being on. We're just gonna jump right into this Washington preview, guys. Like I'm so excited to have Tommy on because I know he does this, on a weekly basis, kind of gives us things to look out for.
And I just did it too, like an hour ago.
So it should be like, you should close your eyes and just do it again.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I'm going to kick it to you. I don't even want to talk about the Eagles. It was a debacle.
Nope.
I was saying to people like after the Lions game, oh, don't be embarrassed. The Lions are pretty decent, blah, blah, blah. That was embarrassing. Like that Giants game was embarrassing. I don't care what we talk about when it comes to, effort or any of the things that come with it. I don't know necessarily go that far, but that was pretty embarrassing. So wiping the slate clean. Tommy, tell us why the Giants are going to win, or if they're not going to win against the Commanders.
Yeah, so doing this prep for this game, obviously I did it 2 weeks ago. We played Washington 2 weeks ago. On paper, it doesn't look good. I'm not gonna lie. Commanders are hot. The Giants are not. Daniel Jones 0-9 in his career on primetime. Giants 0 for their last 11 in primetime, right? Giants had their shot 2 weeks ago, up 20-13 late in the game. Feliciano gets a taunting penalty. You end in a tie. You would assume going to Washington gives them the upper hand, but I'm going to tell you why I think the Giants could pull it out. And I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. These are some of Daniel Jones' numbers in his career versus Washington. So 21 of 31 for 225, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That was his first game victory. 28 of 42, 352 yards. I know we all miss that Daniel Jones, don't we? 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. I could go on, but Jones is 4-1 against Washington in his career, and I think he's due for a big game. He's had some issues this year. In my opinion, and I'm a Jones supporter, I think some plays have been left on the field, whether that's due to the offensive line, whether that's due to not trusting receivers, not trusting himself, coaches not trusting that whole situation. I think Jones is due for a big game. It's unfortunate to see Richie James with the concussion issue. Hopefully he could play. I believe that's his second concussion in 4 weeks now, which is probably not a good sign. But I think Jones could get it done. Listening to Barkley yesterday, he sounds like he's ready to go. Obviously, he hasn't looked great. The last 4 games, he's averaged 3.6 yards per carry or less, 4 straight games. Sure. Very, very unlike him. But I think that night, Jones could get it done. I look for him to go I look for him to get, Hodgins involved. I like Hodgins a lot. I think he's brought something to this offense. I'm not on the boat of him being, a number 2 next year like some people are, but I think Jones takes a step this game. He's done it versus Washington in his career. He's done it at FedEx Field. He's comfortable against them. Clock is ticking. Do you want that new deal? Do you want to go out and get it? 150 yards passing is not going to get it done.
Yep.
I think he puts them over the top Sunday night.
Well, listen, we're going to break this even sooner. Ian O'Connor is backstage. I'm going to introduce him now because that was a really great kind of segue into having Mr. O'Connor on the show. So here he is. Ian, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for jumping on with us. Really appreciate you taking the time. You're with myself. You know me as Mark, so you can call me Mark. You can call me Big Smooth, whatever you want to do. I have my friend Tommy G, he does a great podcast, Tommy's Takes, and you're on video. Wow, we didn't expect that. Beautiful.
Well, I was actually at Jets camp all day, and with the weather and everything getting back, I was a little concerned, but I made it in time. So good to be here.
Listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. We've all read your article. We all kind of read you religiously. So really appreciate you coming on and kind of diving into, I don't know if you know this, but there's a debate going on amongst Giants faithful of what we do with Daniel Jones after this season. So really an insightful article. Just real quick, talk about it, talk about the article, talk about what this front office is thinking right now.
Well, first off, it took me a while to come around on Daniel Jones, at least a little bit. At first, I didn't love him coming out of Duke, even though I just wrote a book on Coach K's life and have done a lot of or have a connection to Duke in that regard. But I did not think he was going to be a great NFL quarterback, and I'm still not sure he will be. At this point, I think I would settle for good to very good. And I think he has a chance. He's proven this year to be that. I'm looking at alternatives, and given the fact that the Giants have won the amount of games that they've won this year, that they're not going to be in position to draft one of the top 3 quarterbacks out of college. So when I look at veteran alternatives, I think Jimmy Garoppolo could be available if the Niners decide to go with Purdy and Lance. And other veterans via free agency or trade that when you measure them against Daniel Jones, the type of guys you think will be available, I think the fact that Daniel has proven this year he could stay healthy for basically the entire season. Obviously, we've got 4 games left to play. And he's improved in every aspect of his game: completion percentage, interception percentage, rushing yardage, rushing touchdowns. A lot of numbers are his career best. So given the fact he has absolutely no wide receivers to throw to, the fact his offensive line has been up and down at best, I think that barring a meltdown over these final 4 games, I think he's a very good option for one more year, whether that's on the franchise or the transition tag, however it works. And then, of course, you'll make the final determination there. But I think he's worked his way towards that one extra year in 2023, and I think he's earned it.
Okay. I know, Monty, you had a question about, you wanted to ask Ian about the franchise or the transition tag.
Yeah, so thinking along those lines with making that decision on the franchise tag or the transition tag, what are your thoughts on if nothing gets locked up with Saquon Barkley and choosing between Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley for the tag? And then, on top of that, do you think outside the tag, Daniel Jones be looking for a multi-year deal if he got offered something the number of that 28 to 30 million for 1 year without the tag? Do you think that's something he'd be against because he's looking for a multi-year deal?
I don't know that. I do think that if you bring him back on a tag, he's going to be slightly overpaid. And I'm okay with that for 1 year. And as I said in my column, I think that there are far worse people in sports to slightly overpay than Daniel Jones, just given his professionalism, his work ethic, and he represents the franchise in a way you want it represented. So I think that if it's a choice between the two, I think you have to go with the quarterback. And I hate to say that because Saquon Barkley has been a big reason why the Giants are still in playoff contention, and his bounce back from injury and his own professionalism and work ethic. And he wants to be great. I was at his parade in his hometown in Eastern Pennsylvania before the draft, and you just see the kind of community that he represents, really, and it's a blue collar work ethic that really he embodies. And I think in a lot of ways he's a perfect New York Giant. He's sort of like the modern day Frank Gifford, but it's just that running backs aren't nearly as valuable as quarterbacks, and so I would always have to go with the quarterback in that debate or choice, and that's what I would do in this case.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Tommy, you're up, man. I want to hear some questions from you.
Yeah. So first of all, Ian, big fan of your
Thank
writing.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's an honor to be on. When the guys told me you'd be on tonight, I was super excited. So definitely thank you for joining us on the show. This article was phenomenal. I thought you did a great job of being realistic, stating the facts, but also saying, hey, wait a minute. He's done some good things this year, and not just good. He's done career high good things. So I'd appreciate you for that, because it always seems like the fan base is split directly in the middle. There's no gray area. Also, when it comes to that, you have one side of the fan base that says, hey, we want Jones to come back. You know, he's had a really crappy situation. The owners admitted such. You have the other side that says, let's get a rookie in here. Let's get the shiny new guy in here. Let's start this rookie clock now. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about merging those two and bringing Jones back on a 1 or 2 year deal, invest in, a second or a third round pick in a quarterback? You have the extra third and a sixth this year from the Tony trade, so you have a little bit of ammo. Is that something that's feasible, realistic? I know you have Tyrod still on, and he's at about $6 million on his number. I don't think they would keep all three, but just your thoughts on that.
And by the way, you bring up, and thanks for the kind words, you bring up Tyrod Taylor. It's interesting to me, if Tyrod Taylor were on the roster last year, Joe Judge would still be the head coach. I think there's no question about that. Whether you love Judge or hate him, that's just a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
But unfortunately, Taylor wasn't, and Glennon was, and that was the reason basically he got fired. And he also killed himself with a couple of decisions at the end of the season. But yeah, I think that's a feasible scenario, no question about it. And of course, we've seen plenty of cases in the NFL where a very good ultimate quarterback sat for, Aaron Rodgers is the ultimate example, multiple years behind Brett Favre, but even Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith. And so I don't think you have to play a top draft choice at that position in year one. I don't think you have to do that. So yes, is that feasible? But they have so many holes on the roster that if they do decide to bring Jones back at a high number for at least 1 year, do you think they're going to be too tempted to fill some of those holes as opposed to getting a quarterback when he's not going to be one of the top three guys because of where they're picking? So that'll be interesting to watch, but I would say it's realistic, but not likely. So what I would do is I would load up on wide receivers. It's amazing that the Giants have won as many games as they have in a wide receivers league without any wide receivers. I haven't seen that one done in a long time, but there are guys out there to get. I was talking to Bill Parcells recently and talking about Odell Beckham Jr. I'm for signing OBJ for next year, and I'm not sure he was for it or against it because he said, listen, you can find wide receivers. There's a million wide receivers out there in the draft, later in the draft, middle rounds. You don't need to go crazy spending on a 30-year-old injured veteran. And he makes a good point. You look at some of the great wide receivers around the league, they're not all first-round picks at all. So they could be found, and I think that's where the Giants have to start. Just get some playmakers. And then depending on what they do with Jones and Barkley, I think they'll be in position next year to take that next step. But at this point, I think knowing as many Giants fans as I do, I would love to see them find a way to win 2 of these final games and get in the tournament.
Man, me too.
It's going to be a short stay, likely, but I think the experience of making the playoffs and playing that out would be a very valuable thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a great point, because all of the fun feelings that we've gotten with Dayball and in this team, in the culture that he's creating, the only thing that matters is a winning culture. So to your point, if they make the playoffs, I think that solidifies him as a winning first year coach, not he did a nice job with what you had.
Well, listen, if I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, please.
I wrote something the other day about the Eagles game. I was at the Eagles game, and I thought that was unacceptable, really, despite all the roses we've thrown at Brian Daboll's feet. He's established a standard and maybe he's a victim of the overachieving standard that he set in the first half of the season. But you're a divisional team trying to make the playoffs in December at home, and the Eagles are very good, no question about it, but they're not the 1985 Bears, and Washington found a way to beat this team on the road. And so I expected a competitive effort, and they did not deliver that. And I think, and I tried to ask this question of Dable the next day, you should want to be held to that standard. He's come out of the winningest programs, or he's coached for the two best coaches of all time in Belichick and Saban. So you have to set that expectation pretty quickly. And I don't think it is acceptable to go down 21-0 at home to a divisional opponent. I don't care if they're 11-1. So most fans, I have to say, disagreed with me and thought, hey, they have no talent. They were playing a much more talented team. What did you expect? And I just expected more than that. I wanted a fight. I wanted a spirited battle. I thought they'd lose, but I thought entering the fourth quarter at home in December, you're trying to make the playoffs, find a way to make that a 21-14 game and fight it out. But they didn't. I thought the resistance was nil, and to me, that's not acceptable.
No, I'm going to play something for you that you quoted it in your article, but I want you to answer this question based off of what you hear, which is, do you think fans are justified saying that Daboll in his post game in a media availability that Daniel Jones isn't his guy based off of this response?
Right on him right now.
Then I just totally screwed that up. I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Live show. It's
just run it back.
And
there it is.
I think he's been nice job, really, since we got here, in the pocket, taking care of the football, making the right decisions. So again, when you get pressure right away in the pocket and there's not much you can do, then the most important thing is to take care of the ball and live to see another day. There's other times he's, created lanes and made some loose plays, whether it be with his feet or throwing the ball. And there's other times he's been able to throw on time and, make the right decision. So, that's part of playing quarterback. All those things happen, I'd say regularly. You try to eliminate the ones that, they're right on him right now.
All right. What are your thoughts?
It's not exactly a grand endorsement. And I think I pointed that out.
Yep.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is not the kind of quarterback who's going to inspire raves about his performance. He's not. I think he's a really good athlete. He might be a better athlete than he is a quarterback. But I think he's a developing quarterback. He's getting better. I don't think he'll ever be one of the top 5 or even 10 quarterbacks in the league. But I think he can be, say, the 12th best quarterback in the NFL, the 11th best quarterback in the NFL, maybe the 10th. And I think with the right team around him, he's showing that maybe he can win a Super Bowl. If Eli could win 2, and Eli was never a top 5 quarterback, can this guy win 1? And I think that's what you want. I asked John Mara 2 years ago, my first interview I ever did. I've been at the New York Post about 21 months, and was an exclusive with John Mara where I said, can you envision Daniel Jones winning a Super Bowl? And he said, absolutely. I can say that without any hesitation. And I said, how about 2? He said, yeah, I don't see why not, as long as we surround him with the right pieces. I don't know if he's going to win 2, but I think as he's improving here, he shows you he's the kind of quarterback who with the right, and he has no playmakers now, but if he has playmakers on a line, I think you can be a consistent winner challenging for playoffs every year, and maybe he does pick off a Super Bowl at some point during his prime.
Okay.
So, Ian, I have a question for you. Build off of what you're saying with talking to John Mara. We all know John Mara loves Daniel Jones. You quoted, he believes he can win a Super Bowl. As fans, do you think we can trust that the decision to bring back Daniel Jones will be on Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, and ownership will not have a hand in that decision or a large, influence over what they want? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do, because I think he has a lot of respect for Shane and Dable. They've earned it. I remember, and I think he sees them really as one. They're a team. They're a tag team, and it's a real partnership, obviously, because of their ties and time together in Buffalo. But when I was walking with Mara after the third game of the season, I can't remember which one it was, after a win at MetLife, and I said, can you give me your assessment of Brian Dable so far. And he said, what's not to like? And I know that obviously the last, 6 games, it's been a different tone, maybe vibe around that program. Things have gotten a little bit more tense. But at the end of the day, I think John Mara is just thrilled that he's playing meaningful games in December again. No matter what you think of his ownership and his style of leadership, in 38 years of doing this, I will say that John feels it, the pain of a fan, of a blue-collar guy in the upper deck, more than any owner I've ever encountered. So he has been devastated and gutted by all the losing since the last Super Bowl victory. And just being in the hunt in December, I think has given him a great feeling. And I think that if Shane and Dable go to him and say, we need to cut ties with Daniel Jones or we need to bring him back, Mara will sign off on it without too many questions.
It's great to hear. It's all I want.
It's a great answer.
Now, one other option, I guess, is combining first-round picks and moving up in the draft. And remember that Buffalo moved up to get Josh Allen. And so the Giants could do that and then cut Jones loose, because I think if you're going to put that kind of draft capital into a quarterback, you pretty much have to – you don't have to, but you're going to be inclined to try to get him on the field right away.
Yeah, and some fans like to point out with that is also let go of Tyrod after they made the playoffs in the first time in what was like 20 years at the time with the Bills. So should be interesting how it all plays out. You know, there is some parallels there between how their career started and that team.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tommy, you got a follow-up?
Yeah, so far we talked about Daniel Jones as a player, the positives that he's brung, the progressions that he's made. My thing is this, on his Giants team, as you head into the offseason in 2023, in my opinion, you probably need multiple linebackers. You definitely need multiple receivers. You still have some uncertainty in the interior of the offensive line. You definitely have depth issues that have showed themselves on special teams. Giant special teams has been horrible. You could attribute that to no depth, right? Guys that should be on special teams are in starters role. Can the Giants afford to give Daniel Jones $30 million, right? Can they afford to tag him? Or is it more beneficial to give him a 3-year deal that's front-loaded, incentive-laden, so they have some more wiggle room to get some receivers and fix that linebacking core? Or is that too much to ask when you have such a big number, and a quarterback that's out of his rookie deal?
It's a good question, and you might have a good point there on stretching him out to lower that hit. And by the way, the depth problems on the team, and part of it, some of this has been self-inflicted. I mean, McKinney's thing was devastating.
Adoree also, right?
And Adoree was not. You have to put that on Dable, because those of us who are old enough, you guys don't look old enough to remember Jason Sehorn.
Jason Sehorn, yep.
That
preseason
game against the Giants.
Preseason.
I mean, that guy was one of the best cornerbacks the Giants have ever had. Dory Jackson was the best cover man they had, and Dable put him back on punts and doesn't seem to regret it. But I'm sorry, that was a mistake. And I know it's easy to second guess that one, and hindsight's 2020. But McKinney and Jackson, if they're playing, might they have gotten one extra win here, in recent times? So I think that, obviously it's a thin roster, and they need a lot. But man, it's hard to win in this league without any wide receivers. You have to score points, and so to me, that's priority 1 and 2.
For sure. What are you talking about, Ian? Look at these gray hairs. Look at these bad boys. I need to get closer to the camera for you.
Well, it's darker than my gray hair, so and my eyes are kind of shot at age 58. So
no, I hear you. So my last question, and then I don't know how much time you have. You are more than welcome to stay on as long as you want, but I want to be respectful of your time.
I got 6 minutes. I got to be off at 8:30. If that's all right.
Perfect. Perfect. So I have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do me a favor and explain to people, especially in Giants Twitterverse, the difference between what you do and essentially someone that's an op-ed specialist, an opinion piece? Because we're asking your opinion on certain things, but what you wrote is not opinion. It's based off of facts that you found. Can you explain that just very rudimentarily to our audience, please?
really for your show, you probably would be better served by having Paul Schwartz on. I don't know if you've ever had him on, but he's been covering the Giants for the New York Post as a beat writer for, I don't know, 20 some odd years. As a columnist, I'm going from like today, the Jets to the Giants to the Yankees to the Mets. I'm writing Aaron Judge one day, an opinion on him, and an opinion on Brian Dable the next. So, and really, there aren't many of us left. It used to be back in the day. So I'm talking in the 1990s, when being a general columnist at a major New York outlet was everything. That was the job. And then slowly but surely, and now, of course, if you're a specialist, if you're an insider in a team or a league, so like Adrian Wojnarowski in basketball, Adam Schefter in football, Ian Rappaport, those are the people who have the most visibility and make the most money. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I always loved being a general columnist. I tried to hang on, and we're maybe about to be extinct at some point here in the next who knows how many years. I hope not. But I do really enjoy the variety. So I'll go to the Masters, and I'll go to the World Series and the Super Bowl, and then write about Daniel Jones and then Aaron Judge. And so I do a lot of bouncing around, as opposed to obviously a beat writer who, like a Paul Schwartz or like Art Stapleton with the Record, or Pat Leonard with the Daily News. I mean, they're with the Giants is year round. That's what they do. So as a columnist, I'm around, and I've been around the Giants a lot for the better part of 3 decades. So, but if you're asking me real inside baseball, in this case, inside football stuff, there may be times I'm not afraid to say, you know what, I am not qualified to answer that question. I do reporting. I think of myself more as a reporting columnist than just somebody writing off the top of his head. So I've always prided myself on that. I think I can break news, but basically I'm someone who, because I'm bouncing around to a lot of different things, I'm not going to be plugged in to everything all the time. If you ask me what the front office is thinking for sure about the secondary, I might struggle with something like that. But when we're talking about the quarterback and signature positions or the head coach, I'm a little bit more qualified to handle that.
Well, you explained that perfectly. So there's nothing. I just wanted you to kind of tell the audience that, because some people get confused, I feel like sometimes.
We do
really,
too, but you're right.
Really appreciate you doing that. Before we let you go, can you tell people, because we're going to clip this and send it out for over the next few days, where can they buy your books? I know your Coach K book is fantastic. I am what you would consider the biggest Duke hater of all time, but I live in ACC country, and I have a lot of Duke fans. And good God, that book is chef's kiss. It is fantastic.
Well, it had the negatives in there too. It wasn't just
I know
a praising of Coach K. The human flaws, and there were plenty of them with him, are covered in that book more than they've been covered anywhere else. I can tell you that.
And just to put a bow on that, you told some great stories. So if you're a fan of sports in general, buy Ian's stuff, look him up on his website, follow him on social. So if you want to kind of promote anything, feel free right now.
The easiest way is to go on Amazon.com. You get the best deal. I think my hardcover now is selling for $17, which isn't a bad deal. So Coach K, my Belichick book is still out there. My last 4 books made the New York Times bestseller list. One on Jeter before that. So, I am about to start my next one. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but it's going to happen in the next month or so. And usually they take about start to finish 1.5 years, 2 years to put together. So I'm looking forward to diving back in.
I was about to say, you're going to break some news here? This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'm actually literally not 100% sure, or else I'd say it.
Gotcha.
And so it might be basketball related again. I want to get back to football at some point, but yeah, and there's nothing harder in my business and nothing more rewarding than doing a book. It can be a nightmare, particularly when you have another job. So that is it really is like having 2 full-time jobs when you're a columnist for a major outlet like the New York Post. So I dread it, but I also love it, and hopefully it'll work out again this time.
Well, listen, Ian, on behalf of all of us, really appreciate your time, man. And thanks for jumping on video too. That was a great surprise. Great to see your face.
Yeah, same here, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Ian.
Take care.
It was great having you.
Thank you.
There he goes.
And
That was
Christmas
awesome.
is coming up too. Check out Amazon.com.
Check out all his stuff. And I tell you guys, I'm dead serious. All of us are Connecticut guys. I'm sure we're all familiar with UConn's some of the UConn's like losses to Duke. Like I'm old enough to remember Elite Eight losing to Leitner at the buzzer. I also remember them beating them in the Final Four too. But if you like basketball at all, dude, honestly, if you just want a great sports book, get that book. It's amazing. But anyway, thanks, Ian. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing.
Ian, thank you.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
I'm all
That was
juiced up
fun,
now.
man.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was really
That was a lot of fun. Well, let's go around the horn. Monty, we didn't even get to your Washington deal because he jumped in early. So what's your first what's your first thought with Ian jumping off? What stood out to you?
Yeah, so as far as the Washington game, I mean, where it comes down to with this is it's a must-win game. You can say whatever you want about how, we started hot early, and that's just kind of how it is. Washington's been hot as of late. We started hot early, and, typically those teams with momentum are the ones why they're favored right now. And, I think we have similar talent teams, but at the end of the day, it's this December football. This is a playoff game, essentially, and we need to come out and win this. And I thought there was a great clip from Jihad Ward this week that was, who the fuck wants it more? And that's what it's going to come down to. I'm going to play it real quick for you guys.
It's December football, man. It's about who the fuck wanted more. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about – it's more to it than just doing your job. It's more to it than, I know my playbook stuff. You have to do more. Well, how bad do you want it? Ain't nobody going to sit here and give it to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's really how bad do you really, really want it, dog?
I think you got to throw away a little bit that they had this bye week, that we've been cold, they've been hot. I think at this point, this is a winner takes all on so many senses with this game. You cannot lose this game. And if you win this, our chances to make the playoffs jump up to like 90% is what I was seeing. So and
down to 20% if you lose too. It's crazy.
You have to win it. This gives you a 1.5 game lead over Washington if you win it. And you go down 1.5, and now you're competing with Seattle and the Lions who are also really hot right now. So, yeah, you got to win it. You got to win it. This is the season, and Daniel Jones has got to prove he can win a primetime game in a big situation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, man. I like to think that I'm not just because I think I picked them to lose again. Someone asked me, and I was like,
"No surprise there."
Until they, because I feel like the reverse jinx is always better on when I do it that way. But I feel like the only way that they can win this game, and it's a real simple breakdown. You got to control the line of scrimmage. I don't know if Leonard Williams is playing, but if they can't control that line of scrimmage with Washington, the way they do things, they were content to run it 40 times down the Eagles' throat for that win on the road against Philly. So there's nothing that tells me that they wouldn't be content doing that to the Giants if they could, right? Especially with Heineke, because listen, we say what we want about Heineke. He plays, with crazy overconfidence, but sometimes that turns into just, a silly game where he's 27 of 30 for 300 yards and he's throwing off his back foot and they're fucking making plays because unlike Daniel Jones, Taylor Heineke has some real weapons on the other side between McLaurin and Curtis Samuel and Jihad Dotson. I don't even know. I honestly couldn't tell you who their tight end. Logan Thomas is their tight end, correct?
Yeah.
Brian Robinson, the rookie
Brian
running
Robinson,
back,
Antonio Gibson.
100 yards versus us the last time.
Yeah.
JD
So,
McKissick.
he has more weapons than – if Daniel Jones could kind of borrow one of those guys, can we just get one? Can we pull one of those, like quick little trade? We'll send you one of our practice squad guys, and you give us, I don't know, even Curtis. Just give us Curtis Samuel.
I love
Curtis
Samuel.
Just give me a little Curtis Samuel.
We'll send over Pimpleton. How about that?
Yeah, perfect. See, that's a fair trade. But yeah, I think again, like it's controlling the line of scrimmage. It's second down. I kept writing that down in the last game. Second down has been the craziest downfall for this team based off the play calling with Kafka. I'm not hating on him. I think he's done a pretty good job this year, but there's some games where things kind of start falling apart, and it's that First down, they throw, maybe they get 5 or 6 yards, or Saquon rips a run for 5 or 6. And then second down, play action, 7-step drop, they get sacked. Or they try something and now they're behind the chains. Earlier in the year, granted, people are a little healthier, they still, they're moving the chains on that second down was conversion to a first down or a 3rd and short, where then they could open up the playbook more. So I just don't see them having that consistency. And I think what could do it is one big play to start the game. Like one shot on first down, like they do 13 personnel and, Bellinger breaks free, like a Kevin Boss situation in the Super Bowl where, he breaks a couple tackles and goes for like 40 yards, or a deep shot to Slayton, because who else is available? Nobody. I think that could be the difference to kind of get the ship righted, because there's not a lot of good vibes with this Giants offense right now. They need something to kind of get a spark.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I thought Ian touched on something there I wanted to talk about. And he talked about, something that I feel like in the Giants community, content creators, fans, that we stay away from. And he talked about, the goodwill being sucked out of this coaching staff a little bit, right? And some issues here. And whether you talk about, Dable putting Adoree on punt returns, whether you talk about Kafka running these ridiculous play actions on obvious passing downs, and nobody on the defense is respecting the run. I mean, I was watching film this week, and I would say 80% of the play actions, linebackers never bid on them, straight dropbacks. So there's some issues here, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. But I also don't want to see this team fade into the offseason, right? And a lot of Giants fans could remember the second half swings under Tom Coughlin, where it was 6-2, 8-8, 6-2, 8-8, 6-2, 8-8. I think what Ian said was true. You want to keep progressing. You want to win. You want to make the playoffs. Yes, you had a great start. You've been working with scraps. You've had a ton of injuries. But the way they came out versus Philly was embarrassing. That game wasn't even competitive for 60 seconds. So I want to see this coaching staff lock in Sunday night. I want to see this offensive line have some semblance to an actual professional offensive line. They've been horrible the last 3-4 games. And I understand they've had injuries. Neal has been out. Bredesen is not coming back, it looks like. Azudu is out. Feliciano has been out. But you invested the number 4 overall pick. You invested the number 7 overall pick. You gave deals to Glowinski. You gave a deal to Feliciano. Not big deals, but you gave him deals. I would expect this offensive line to at least be able to be functional in a game. They've had to cater the offensive game plan around the offensive line deficiencies. I mean, it was a bootleg play action pass last week where before Daniel could even snap his head around, the defensive end was literally in his face. He still completed it, but guess for how many yards? 1 yard.
Yeah.
And that's how this offense has been. So I expect the coaching staff to get their shit together Sunday night. Special teams, get your shit together. And offense, stop leaving the defense out to dry. Because I think the defense, for the most part, has done a pretty good job. I think Wink Martindale has done a really good job this season, missing his 2 best secondary guys, 3 if you want to count Aaron Robinson, right? He has a linebacking core that's in the bottom 5 percentile of the league. So I want to see some pride Sunday night. If you lose and you die on your sword, fine, so be it. Fight Daniel Jones, same thing. Throw it deep, take some shots, put it out there. Please. I don't care if he throws 3 interceptions.
I don't either. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that narrative too, man, because I'm tired of the narrative that like people were going to say, well, if he throws 3 picks, all you haters are going to jump on him.
That's bullshit. I'd rather that instead of him go, he went 16 for 18 for 140, but he had a high, you know what I'm saying?
Look, real quick, and this is a great what you're saying has made me think of something that I had a conversation with it. It was respectful. It wasn't like one of these Twitter. It wasn't one of these, not to lose our flow here.
My turn. You told me it was my turn.
It wasn't that. So it wasn't a disrespectful conversation.
Twitter Spaces.
But the question, the thing that I said is why did this? Because I was totally for this. I was against the Perry Fuel cover 2 die by 1,000 cuts defense. I am much more in favor of Wink Martindale's blitz all fucking day. I don't care. I'd much rather get burned for a 50-yard touchdown like what happened with Devontae. Have some balls and go after the quarterback. They missed it by this much. Julian Love should have made a play, and that was the situation. Why don't we crucify Wink as much as we would crucify Daniel Jones, if he just went fucking Caleb Williams and just said, I'm going to throw one off my 1 foot rolling out of bounds and take a shot instead of just throwing it away. I get what Dayball is saying, but like, bro, he doesn't have a contract next year. He's playing for his livelihood. Where is that fight from him? I don't want to see, oh shucks, damn it, Daniel. Shout out to Hefe. I want to see a pit bull. Not the Labrador. I want to see him fucking make some plays, man. So give him a couple of shots, roll out, move the pocket, whatever you got to do to manufacture offense.
Die on your sword, baby.
That's all I'm saying.
And I'll say, I think a lot of the reasons they have not been airing it out with Daniel Jones is they know their deficiency as a team, as an overall team. I know there's a lot of like questions about quarterback, O-line, wide receiver, but they know if they make a mistake, it's going to be hard for them to come back. But I don't think we are like a significantly worse team than Washington. I think we are a very similar talent where we can go ahead and make plays and just try to beat them. Don't try to play this conservative ball. Go out there and make a play and win this game because we need to make a play and win. We got to bounce back from especially these last two games where the coaching staff was probably one of the main reasons we lost to Washington. They could have put that game away and they didn't. Eagles, we weren't prepared. I mean, I think Julian Love said it. It was like sometimes you get your ass beat. And I think they need to take that and they need to be like, all right, we got our ass beat and we need to rebound from this. Not this starts this downhill. We need to come back, use that as fuel, and win this game.
No, I don't disagree. Tommy, I think you said something like you might have to jet here in a few minutes. Is that? I just want to be sure.
I got another couple minutes to hang out.
Okay.
I'll say one more thing. I don't know if it's the coaching staff that is affecting Daniel and his conservative approach. And listen, we've all seen the film this year, and we see the guy on the double move breaking free and Jones takes the check down or Jones looks right at him. He takes a 4 or 5 yard gain. I will say this. If it is the coaching staff, it makes no sense to me because this is year 1, year 0 in the rebuild. Nobody on this coaching staff is losing their job this year off of losses. There's no reason to play ultra conservative. But what you needed to do was find out what you got at number 8. And if you want to give him $30 million, and I'm sorry, and I love Daniel Jones. I've been a supporter. Going 16 of 18 for 170 yards with a touchdown pass and a touchdown rushing, I just don't know if that's worth the $30 million. And if the coaching staff has done this and this has been under their instruction, then shame on them because Joe Judge and Jason Garrett took Daniel Jones the last 2 years and they told him, don't fuck up. Don't throw that interception. Don't have that fumble. And they turned him, and he was, I won't say a gunslinger his rookie year. I won't go that far, but he was slinging it. He was going to break the rookie touchdown passing record if he didn't get injured versus Arizona.
A lot of tight windows his rookie year. A lot of tight windows.
Tight windows, and he let his hang. And now it's just like doing a play action rollout, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, and you got to watch this film on Monday and Tuesday that all the Twitter film experts are breaking down for us. So. Whatever it is, if it's the coaching staff doesn't trust the offensive line, if Daniel doesn't trust himself, doesn't trust the receivers, you got 4 games. The very least, be a little more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like if you miss the playoffs, nobody's getting fired. We're not going to sit here in 2 months and be like, well, Dable missed the playoffs. I'm not too sure about this guy. No, I mean what he's done has been remarkable. But if he doesn't become aggressive and he remains conservative and they have 4 offensive drives at the end of a game that result in 2 yards and it's a tie, that I have a problem with.
Yeah. Tommy, before you go, I don't think you didn't know this. And I'm telling everybody, this was not planned. When Tommy said, you gotta let your, what hang, I need you to watch this. I want you guys to watch this video. We have labeled ourselves as a comedy podcast, and we've done the last 2 podcasts have been a little more serious with Paul, and then with bringing Ian in to kind of have like a chop it up style. But I definitely wanted to end Tommy's takes here with this. Speaking of letting your nuts hang, please just watch this.
Problem is, bar of soap just doesn't cut it. See? Still dirty.
Well, how can guys clean their balls so that they're more enjoyable to play with?
Well, there's finally a tool that can really get the job done. The Axe Detailer. cleans your balls. Why don't we start with these small balls? With a soft side for lather, and a rough side for scrubbing, this can make any ball sparkly and new. Go ahead and play with those clean balls, Denise.
Wow.
Clean those you know what.
Listen, guys, what did they have to do with Giants football? I don't know, but maybe let you know. No small balls.
No small balls.
No small balls. And if you have to go, and you don't want to watch the end of that, if you want to watch the end of it, there's like another minute if you want to see the conclusion.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Why not? Right?
do it.
Let's fucking go.
Could play with these balls all day. Let's see if the audience has any questions.
You there.
Can it clean these filthy balls?
Throw those fuzzy suckers down here. Look. Cleans right through the prickly surface.
What about my ball sack?
Just plop it right here and let's get to work. It's a big ball sack.
Monica, it looks like we have time for one more demonstration.
Come out here, Mr. Hackerman.
Monica, can you help me with these dirty balls?
Hank, the Axe Detailer offers such a crazy clean. It can even clean your old balls.
Wow. They look like new.
I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Okay,
I don't know
so
what to say right there.
all I'm going to say is Axe body spray. I don't use your product, but if you want to bless our show with a sponsorship, I will play that every single fucking show, every time. I don't care who we have on. I don't want to surprise a person like Ian O'Connor with an old balls commercial. So either way, I'm very down to support Axe body spray's ball cleaner.
That was funny as hell. That was a great commercial.
Yeah, what do you got to say about that, Tommy? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty speechless on that one, honestly. Just want the Giants to have the big balls, baby. That's all I want. That was actually a really good segue too, Mark.
Yes,
I was like,
that was smooth.
I'm gonna clip
that
it.
was very smooth.
No, hey. I'm gonna clip that because there's a moment when you say that you want to let his, and I went, ooh, like it was like I want to play it right now, like we planned it.
That was awesome.
But dude, Tommy, thanks so much for coming, man. Give me the score prediction before you leave. We're gonna hold you to it.
First, before that, I want to shout out both of you guys. And, like I said earlier, before the cameras were on, I really respect and appreciate both of you. Monty, we kind of, became friends on the side. I send you a lot of my stuff. We talk about it. We go over some stuff. You give me feedback. Same thing, Mark, same exact relationship. And I couldn't be more proud of you guys for getting this up off the ground. I know Sarge is not here. Shout out to Sarge also. He's a great guy. But couldn't be more proud of you guys. It is not easy to get a YouTube channel off the ground, creating content. I know that. I've been doing it for about 4 months, and I'm still trying to get up off the ground. It's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of passion, knowledge. But you guys check all the boxes, and super proud. I can't wait to see where you guys take it. As far as prediction, I'm going Giants 24, Washington 21.
I like it.
Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate you
Thanks,
coming
Tommy.
on.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace, man.
Later. All right. We got a couple more minutes. First off, that was great. Thanks to Tommy. Really appreciate you coming on. And obviously, he brought some of his people. We had a few extra folks than we normally do on the live. And shout out to Mark B, who's in the chat. Stayed through for the Axe body spray promo. That was awesome. Who is an unpaid sponsor, unofficial sponsor of Big Blue Beards. Sarge came in with a cheers at 8. Really appreciate it. I think we had this guy that was trying to troll, which I welcome. Please, if you want to troll us, please, man, I welcome it. I love it. So what do you think, Monty? What's the score? What's the score this week?
Man, I gotta go. I gotta take my team. I know that there's a lot looking down against us, but I gotta go with the Giants. I think this coaching staff knows they gotta come in and draw up a game plan to win this. I think our players know. I think we can recapture what we had earlier in the season. I'm going to say it's going to be a 28-25 game, and we are going to come right down to it into the fourth quarter. We're going to take them into the deep end to see if they can swim, and we're going to close this one out.
I like it. I think I would like to present something that is, if I can find it. I lost a bunch of stuff when I was trying to clip things earlier, but what I'm going to think about this game if I essentially if we lose this game, or if God forbid we were to tie again, what essentially my what I would look like after this game. I'm not drinking right now, so it wouldn't be because I'm drunk, but just essentially this would be my mentality for this game. So if the Giants lose or tie, that's about like I would probably faint and fall through a wall. But I really do think that we have. I hate saying it because I say it every week that they're going to do X, Y, and Z, and they do nothing that I fucking say. So I'd love for them to get off to a quick start. It looked like that Washington game that we first played was ours to take. A million different ways we could have won that game. I think I'm going to agree with my namesake, even though it's with a C. Giants 24. I almost said Redskins. Commanders 21. 24-21. I'll shut our my boy here, Mark with a C. There you go. 24-21 Giants. Will because I predicted they would make the playoffs. Like once they get off to a big start, it was like, oh, how could they not, right? So I kind of want to stick with that. I haven't lost all faith, although I sat and watched the Eagles game like this.
Yep. Yeah, you knew that game was over like after the first touchdown almost. Like it felt hopeless. I don't want to get into all of that, but it was we need to move away from that. And they need to inspire this fan base. The team needs to get inspired, and we need to win. I mean, the Washington's got some quality players. We have some quality players. We both have a strength in our D line, but I think we have a good enough team to win this game. I think you saw that last time we played. We just got to finish it out.
No, I agree. Okay. You ready to get silly for about 5 minutes and look at some fun videos? Want even if they have audio, Monty, you got to give me some play-by-play of what you see. They're very quick, so we can always replay them.
All right.
We're going to go through a couple here. I will show you. Let's go with. Hold on. Nobody leave. This is a good one.
That guy's a fucking man.
All right, so let's go through that again. What do you see here?
Dude, this guy rolling a tractor, smoking darts, taking a beer on the road. What a fucking guy.
First off, the first time I saw that, I was like, where are they? Because listen to the music again.
Yeah.
That's like in Eastern Europe somewhere.
This dude, there was zero hesitation. That guy taking that beer too. He was like, here it is. Fuck yeah. Right away. No hesitation.
I think that's Sandro Plotzgummer's dad. Yeah, definitely. Look at him, that tractor. He's like, peace out.
He just give him a wave like somebody just like let you go at an intersection. That was him for getting a beer. It's like, oh, just there. Thank you.
Thanks.
You. Yeah.
And I will make sure I kick it to or tell people where they can find these videos because they're hysterical. All right, next one. Ready?
Yep. coming.
What we got?
Jesus, this is torquing a little bit too close to her or something. I don't know what.
Yeah, I want to see like what popped it off, right?
Yeah,
I think the hand, and then it was like, oh, okay.
It was like he started like dancing at her. Bitch, you don't dance at me.
Yep, that's pretty much what it was. That's all it took.
He's just like they locked eyes. It's like locking eyes with like a predator or something. It's just the second they see it, they're going.
Tell me that doesn't look like what happens at a Giants tailgate if shit pops off. Like it just happens so fast, and you're like, "Holy shit, what the fuck just happened?"
The Eagles fan and a Giants fan locks eyes at a tailgate. It's fucking on.
Absolutely. All right, got a few more. Don't worry. Let's see. We just did that one. This might be one of my favorites. It's very short, but it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, he's a sociologist.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. And this is Ken. Say you wanna love me.
I love her singing at the end.
Say
you love me. Where's her accent from?
Yeah. Oh no. Absolutely not. Absolutely. And this is Ken. Say you wanna love me.
I'm not totally convinced that's not just like a drunk person who like gets like a British accent when they're hammered. Like just like normal ass like American accent, get drunk British accent.
All of a sudden they have a Cockney accent.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I think you just hit on it. This is chaotic drunk videos on Twitter. So if you don't follow them, please. They don't follow anybody. It's just they have like 500,000 followers. They probably have people just sending them shit all the time. It's one of my favorite. Like I will go down a rabbit hole, and I think I have two more that are amazing, and then we can wrap it up. But totally worth it. This one is fucked up. Oh God!
She thought they were gonna catch him. Did not plan on that.
That's the ultimate truth fall, or trust fall, but
yeah,
there's no
trust. They stuck their arms out, but they were not gonna get underneath that. They were just
we'll make this Giants related. Kenny Golladay over the middle.
Yeah.
Nope.
Exactly. They had all the right intentions to catch the ball, but it's there. It's mental block. Yep. No, I'm good.
Not today. Oh God. Hold on. Last couple. I love this one. Probably the best because I'm about to be a new dad again. Oh, I can't share up to 10 videos. Well, we'll remove some. You bastard. Let's remove that. And hold on. This is for all the dads out there, especially if you're about to have one like I am, and guarantee that I will probably try this even though I'm not drinking right now. Why is it not letting me do it? Whatever. Let's try to remove some stuff. Remove. All right, last try, guys, and then we're done. This will be the last one, I promise. So if you guys are sick of comedy videos and you want to go cry about the Giants, we won't do this again. I apologize. I'm kidding. Let's see, right here. How dope is that?
That was sick. I was waiting for that big ass lab right there to go take out their legs. That's what I thought.
Me too. See, I love
that thing take off. I'm like, it's gonna come sprint across and take them both out.
No, totally. I can't really tell if that's a beer. I don't care because the fact that he didn't drop anything. Like he picks her up and then she tips it in.
Woo!
If that's a beer, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ultimate shotgun.
Well, another successful Big Blue Beards in the books. Appreciate you, Monty, for coming on and being a part of it. Look at Tommy giving us another shout out. Also, because I said I thought that guy was trolling. So we'll have to clip that for Tommy and put it up. Appreciate Mark B. Appreciate you, bro. Merry
Thanks,
Christmas. Final word before we take off.
Man, let's just fucking win it. Let's fucking win this game. December football. Let's beat Washington. Let's get back here next week and start talking about playoffs.
Playoffs? I don't have that queued up. No, I'm with you, man. I'm excited for it. The only thing that sucks, and maybe it's just because I'm old, I hate that it's a Sunday night game. Because I'm gonna be like so geeked up, and then I'm gonna be like, it's gonna have to wade through a bunch of bullshit games, and then the real game is Sunday night. So, but yeah, that's my only negative about it. Appreciate you. Appreciate Tommy for coming on, and Sarge, we missed you, man. It was a good show. We love you. Again, thank you to Ian O'Connor for coming on and explaining what he does and what what we can expect in his opinion. And I really appreciate it, man. Very just great dude. Go buy his books. Go buy multiple books for your dad, for your brother, your sister, whoever likes stuff. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. We'll see you on Giants Twitter.
Definitely. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Tommy. See you guys next time.